Ah.
So tell me, Mr. VAT, what seems to be the problem?
Nobody understands me.
Why is that?
Don't know, I'm too complicated.
Why are you complicated?
Well, everyone tells me I'm difficult to understand.
Everyone.
Well, anyone who tries to get to know me better. I mean, many people try, but, well, they all struggle.
Well, you came to the right place.
What is that?
My didgeridoo?
Your didgeridoo what?
Didgeridoo. It's a musical instrument invented by the Aboriginal people of Northern Australia. I bought it on my last trip while I was in...
Yeah, all right, time is money. I could have all the time in the world and people still wouldn't understand me.
Why don't you try and describe yourself to me?
Oh. I'm an incremental tax levied on products and services at every stage of production, distribution, and sale to the end consumer. Essentially, I'm a tax on the value added at every stage. Oh, hence the name value-added tax.
So you're a tax I pay when I buy things.
I'm so much more complicated.
Perhaps you could explain it to me. Relate it to something I might understand.
Okay, so you bought this didgeridoo thingy.
Didgeridoo. I paid €990 for it. It was handcrafted in Australia. It's very special to me.
I am paying you way too much money for this therapy. Anyway, when you bought this didgeridoo, what's its name, you must have paid VAT on it.
I paid €990 for it. 165 of that was VAT. Wow, that's a lot.
I didn't say I wasn't cheap. I'm just complicated. Anyway, you paid 20% VAT.
No, it's not. 20% of 990 is 198.
Oh, the old backwards percentage error. Everybody gets that wrong. You don't charge VAT on the end amount of 990. You charge it on the original amount before VAT has been applied. In this case, that's €825. 20% of that is €165. Add the €165 VAT to the €825, you get €990 in total. The difference, of course, being VAT of 165.
Okay.
If you want to work out what portion you've paid, you get the original figure of 990, you divide it by 1.2 and you end up with 825. And then the difference is 165 VAT. Everybody gets that wrong. Oh, so you've paid 165 VAT, right? But you haven't paid it to the state, you've paid it to the shop. And the shop has to pay the state. This is known as deductible VAT. Right? To the shop, it's known as collected VAT. And any money owed to the state is known as VAT payable.
That's a lot of money to pay to the government.
Well, technically you're paying the shop, not the government. You're not actually adding any value to the product at that stage, so you don't really owe the government anything.
If you heard me play, you'd agree I add no value whatsoever. I still don't understand.
Okay, look. The shop has collected €165 VAT, right? But they had to buy the didgeridoo what's-his-name thing from someone who makes them.
Didgeridoo.
And the thing is, I'm charged at different rates depending on the product or service.
Oh.
But let's just assume, for simplicity's sake, that all VAT is charged at 20%, okay? So, the shop pays the didgeridoo maker €510. 425 of those euros are for the instrument, and 85 of those euros are for deductible VAT. Okay?
Well, you see, simple after all.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. On the surface, it seems so simple, but it's so much more complicated.
Exactly. Well done. We're getting somewhere.
I'm so much deeper than that.
Tell me more.
Oh, so let's go back. You paid 990 to the shop, of which 165 was VAT.
Mm-hmm.
So how much VAT did the shop owe the state?
Well, if you paid the shop 165 VAT, 165.
Wrong.
Wrong?
Wrong. The shop has already paid the didgeridoo maker €85. And they've collected €165, so they have to pay the difference between the two to the state, which is €80. And that must remain on the balance sheet until it's been paid.
Okay, I'm with you on that one.
So the didgeridoo maker sold it to the shop for €510, of which 425 was for the instrument and 85 was VAT, right? How much tax does the didgeridoo maker owe the state?
€85?
No. How do you think the didgeridoo maker makes the didgeridoo?
I actually know that one. So traditionally, didgeridoos were made with eucalyptus wood or with ironwood.
Right. So the didgeridoo maker needs to buy the material from, say, a lumberjack.
Okay.
So the lumberjack has to mill the wood into something that the didgeridoo maker can then make a didgeridoo out of. So let's say the lumberjack sold this piece of wood to the didgeridoo maker for €120, and out of that has paid €20 VAT to the state.
How much does the lumberjack have to pay the government?
Well, assuming the lumberjack chopped down his own trees, he will be the first in the chain. So he has already paid €20, so he gets to keep €100.
Okay, I think I understand you. And you know what? You're not that complicated.
Really?
Really?
Oh, thank you so much! Oh, that means the world to me.
So, tell me about this Mr. VAT that you saw. I hear he was a complicated patient.
Very.
Well, did you end up understanding him?
Maths has never been my strong suit. I want to understand him. Perhaps I could explain him to you?
Yes, if you must. But you'll have to be quick, because I don't have much time.
So a lumberjack cuts down a eucalyptus tree and sells it to a didgeridoo maker for €120. That's €100 plus €20 VAT. The lumberjack has to pay the €20 to the government because they collected it.
Okay.
Now, the didgeridoo maker takes the wood and makes a didgeridoo that they sell to a shop for €510, 85 of which is VAT. So the didgeridoo maker only owes the government the difference between the collected and the deducted VAT. So 20 minus the 85, 65. Now, the shop would sell the didgeridoo to a customer for €990. 165 of that would be VAT, because the shop had to pay the didgeridoo maker €85 and collected €165 from the customer. They owed the government €80. Make sense? Dr. Strange?
Yes? Oh, yes, VAT. Yes, please, continue.
So the customer paid the 165 VAT to the shop, but they don't owe anything to the government because they didn't add any value. Now, the didgeridoo maker and the shop pay the difference between the collected and deductible VAT. You know what? I think I understand him.
Yes, well, don't go telling him that. The more complicated he thinks he is, the more he will come and see you, and the more money we will make. And speaking of which, when you send him the bill, don't forget to put on the VAT.